if we are looking at hypertrophy, which a lot of times in our initial phase, we are looking at hypertrophy. Let's add some armor so that we can go into battle. For hypertrophy, we've typically been taught that 8 to 12 is the rep range.
Yeah.
That is it.
It's the
Nothing
standard
else.
rubric, yeah.
Nothing else. 8 to 12 works. It does. But more recent studies have shown that's actually far more broad. Let's look at 6 to 15. And there's a lot of research showing that even the super high rep stuff can produce a good amount of hypertrophy. So really, as long as you're above 30% of your 1 rep max, you're probably going to be in a pretty good zone to still produce hypertrophy. So what are the things that we're looking at for hypertrophy? There's really 3 things: metabolic stress, mechanical tension, and muscle damage. That's it. So typically in your 8 to 12, this is why that works so well, is because you get all 3 of these things. Right? So like if we talk about muscle damage, you could get that with a very, very heavy weight, low rep. You could get that at a 3 rep max, but you don't get enough time under tension.
Exactly.
So that's the issue there. And you don't get the metabolic stress, right? Metabolic stress you're going to get from the higher rep ranges. So if you had to put a rep range on hypertrophy, we would probably say 6 to 15. If you want to go higher, great. Sometimes a little bit lower is fine. I think Chris Beardsley and Brad Schoenfield will talk about what we're after is stimulating reps.
I like that.
So a lot of them will say we need 5 stimulating reps. So stimulating reps is basically your difficult reps, right? If you're so light that you can do 20 reps, those first 15 probably aren't stimulating reps. That's pretty easy, but those last 5, those can be stimulating reps.
It reminds me of that Muhammad Ali quote when he said he didn't start counting the reps until he could feel
it. Yes. I love it when you bridge just like the classic quotes with the real science.
There you go.
He's been right all along. So that's when you pretty much start counting the reps. So that's why, those first 15 didn't do much. Those last 5 is where it's at. But if you did a 5 rep max, all 5 of those are stimulating reps, right? If you're at a 5 rep max where you're coming to failure on 5, or maybe even leaving 1 rep in the take, like a weight that you could do 6, but you only do 5. That first rep, that is not easy. That is still a stimulating rep. And so that's why you can get good hypertrophy at heavy for 5, or you could get good hypertrophy at 15 or 20. But generally, I would say stay in that like 6 to 15 range if the goal is hypertrophy.